you can't hire somebody like a VA or an EA to be an account manager. They're not the same role because there is a level of ownership that's necessary to be a really good account manager. You're looking at all these different facets of the agency, how they work together. You're bringing ideas to the table. It's not a role that can sort of just be checked off.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to Happy Clients.
E2M is a proud sponsor of the Happy Clients Podcast. If you're running a digital agency, you know the hardest part isn't getting clients. It's delivering consistently without burning out your team or hurting margins. E2M helps agencies scale confidently as a behind-the-scenes, white-label fulfillment partner. From web development and SEO to paid media, US-based content, e-commerce, and even AI, they plug into your agency so your clients get great results under your brand. No freelancers, no chaos, just reliable delivery that helps you keep clients happy and growing. Find out how E2M can support your agency at e2msolutions.com/dot. People often fall into the account management role, but very few set out to do it. In this episode, we are going to reframe why account management is such a powerhouse career choice. So I have invited Jill and Jenna back to the Happy Clients Podcast to help me debunk this. I know we talk about that a lot, but Jenna, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, if you would have asked me if I wanted to be an account manager before I even found out about Dot, I would have been like, what is that even? Like, what does an account manager do? How do I even get into this career? So yeah, I'm totally on that side that, not a lot of people understand what this role is. So even agency owners, when they're hiring for it, they don't really understand what it is. So it's definitely a larger conversation that a lot of people need to have before they get started.
So Jill, from your perspective, what does an account manager actually do? Like, not from a day-to-day perspective, but high level.
Yeah, I think account management is such a funny career because a lot of the people on our team specifically sort of have this journey through marketing where they naturally kind of fell into an account management role just because they had both the hard skills, the organization, the marketing knowledge, the background, the context of how agencies work, sort of all of these pieces. But then they naturally were talented in speaking to clients, in managing teams, in building those relationships. So I feel like for a lot of people, it's not something they set out to do because they kind of started in marketing or communications or PR or whatever it is. And naturally they had a talent for the client facing work. And I think with that specifically, there's also this kind of personality type that really fits well with the account management role. And I think the best way to sum it up from my perspective is it's this almost ownership that you can't teach or train people to have. And that's often why we say to agencies, especially agencies starting out, that you can't hire somebody like a VA or an EA to be an account manager. They're not the same role because there is a level of ownership that's necessary to be a really good account manager. You're looking at all these different facets of the agency, how they work together. You're bringing ideas to the table. It's not a role that can sort of just be checked off. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting journey to become an account manager.
Yeah. I like what you said about it's not just somebody checking things off. And I always think about this from even my own perspective as an account manager. You're bringing all these different skill sets together. It's a really unique role where you can't just be good at one thing. You can't just be good at marketing strategy. You have to be good at the communications and the organization and the written communication and the verbal communication. It all has to come together into this. Annoyingly, we call it a unicorn. I don't think we call it that anymore, but
It's kind of a unicorn.
It's this very unique person that we're looking for. Which does make it challenging to hire for from our perspective. Jenna, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these transferable skills that we build as account manager and how this kind of sets you up in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like Jill had said, everyone is coming with a different background, but it all is centered around digital marketing. So all of our team members are digital marketers first, and that's something that has always been true and will always continue to be true. But they all come with these different backgrounds inside of digital marketing, or even outside of that those transferable skills like the ownership, the being able to triage urgency. I think that is a really key thing that a lot of people don't understand how to do. They get overwhelmed with the amount of work that has to be done. But these people that we have coming on our team, they understand the organization side of it and the need for that. And you can get those types of transferable skills in a lot of different areas as long as you're in that leadership and ownership position. And so that's really something that we're looking for. And even on top of that, we're looking for that hospitality feel. So like Jill was saying, like it's a lot about the personality too, not just those hard skills. So you want someone who is calm under pressure, right? Because we do have a lot of things that are happening inside of one agency, but we're also inside of 2 or 3 agencies at once. So you have to be able to have a handle on everything and then stay calm as well.
I like how you said triage urgency and stay calm. From what I have seen, in order to know how to do that, you have to have years in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I find it very challenging to hire someone straight out of university.
Yeah.
And I think that is why, because we are putting you into a high pressure situation and you have to know how to figure it out and stay calm as you're doing that. So from what you've seen, Jill, in the people we hire, what kind of, like, how much experience do you have to have?
Yeah.
And what kind of experience or expertise do you have to come to the table with?
I think for us, we really look for agency experience exactly for the reasons that you just shared. It's a completely unique dynamic, being responsible for clients, but also being responsible for timelines, teams, sort of like all these moving pieces. No agency is perfect, even if someone thinks their agency is perfect. It's not perfect. And they all function so differently. So I think like having somebody with agency experience from our perspective is almost more valuable as valuable as marketing experience, just because it's so necessary in this industry. I think also when we're hiring people as well on sort of like the soft skill side, because this role is so unique in the fact that it combines both marketing and personality, we really look for people that are like, oh, this role sounds like me. And they get really excited by it, versus the people that are kind of like, okay, I think I could do this. Like I have the experience. Often the people that excel the best are the people that we talk to and they're like, I'm so organized and on top of things, and I feel really energized by talking to clients. I love helping them through their journey, and I have the experience to help with that. That's when we're like, okay, this person can do such a good job in this role.
Yeah.
Just a personal anecdote, like just from my side, when I found Dot, like I said, like I had no idea what account management was, but I found it. And when I learned more about what Dot does and, the values and everything, I was like, this is for me.
Yeah.
And I knew like to my core that this was for me. This was my job. So that's what we're looking for in a lot of different account managers that are coming in. Like, does this feel like you? Because if it doesn't feel like you're going to be able to get energized by talking to people, helping them through their problems, triaging that urgency and, getting through all the chaos, then this isn't the job for you.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to have all of those skills, and you can get them from having that leadership and that ownership positions in other areas.
Yeah. So all of these skills bring you to Dot. What's your take on this being a career advancer? Like, how does this become a piece of your path?
Yeah, well, we definitely see inside of a lot of different agencies. So you learn pretty quickly, kind of trial by fire, but a really great education with a lot of support. So it's a comfortable environment for you to really test the skills that you already have, because you already have everything that you need. Otherwise, we wouldn't have hired you. So you are ready to go. Let's give you some really great agencies that you can really test those skills, and you'll learn really quickly in those environments.
Yeah, I think to add to that too, like we tend to hire obviously based on marketing experience, but in this role, you can have so many unique experiences in different marketing channels. Sometimes account managers come to us and they've only worked in like paid media, but they're really interested about PPC and website development. And so maybe we place them in an agency where they are full service. So they have that paid media background. They can learn the SEO, they can learn the web development. from other account managers on our team, being in the agency. I think one thing that we really try to remind agency owners of is don't get hung up on finding the perfect person that checks all the boxes in terms of experience. Try to focus on agency experience, because that person understands how agencies function. They understand the service lines, the demands, the pressure, and they will learn, especially if they are an eager person. They're there to help your clients. They want to be confident. They want to be able to speak to results. So I think it's important to focus on those skills instead of finding this unicorn person that knows like how to code the back end of websites. Right. Because that person, chances are, maybe they can and they love talking to clients, but probably not. Yeah. So you want to find somebody who their skill set is communication and speaking to clients, and they have the marketing to support that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're a potential account manager listening to this, 10 out of 10 recommend?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, all of us have totally grown in our careers since we started as account managers. Like, I feel like the amount I've learned over the last 6-7 years is like a whole career worth.
Yeah. I would say even in the last 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's invaluable. Even like I had a performance review with an account manager yesterday, and it's so funny because she started with a new agency beginning of her last 6-month performance review. And we were talking about how completely different this past 6 months has been for her, even though she's been in marketing for 10 years. She has so much experience. She's a great account manager, but now she's learning all these other channels and facets of marketing that she never thought that she'd have exposure to. And we just see it as like tools in her toolkit and more that she can offer to agencies and more learning and growing that she can do. So I think it's interesting, like even if you aren't necessarily brand new to marketing and the account management career, it can still surprise you what you can learn in this role.
Yeah, I'll echo that exact same thing. I had a performance review with a Cam who's been with us for 4 years last week. And she and I were talking about how, what her next goals are for this next year. And she's like, I want to get more into the philanthropy space, and understand how to advertise there, because I have an agency that's really trying to get into that. So as the agencies are evolving, you have that opportunity to grow and learn more inside of the agency, but also for your career too.
That's really cool. Love it. Cool. Well, thank you for listening to this episode. On the next one, we are going to be talking about how to manage your workload so that you don't burn out, because we talk a lot about how heavy it is and how much work it is, but it is very light at the same time. So stay tuned for the next episode. But thank you for listening to this episode of the Happy Clients Podcast, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers to happy clients.